I can teach you how to do the best selfies ever. After traveling all over the world taking the best selfies, I was finally able to put all the secrets in one course. Learn more in the description below. Yeah, that's my first video, my first commercial video to sell the course in landscape photography and selfies, or as I like to call self-portrait photography. How many people come home from a trip showing their photos and saying, you see, the photo does not show the true beauty of the place. It does not do justice to the beauty of the place. And that's because the person did not know how to photograph the place properly, and much less himself. Because first, you have to know how to photograph the place and then put yourself in the composition properly. I can guarantee that the feeling is awesome when you come home from a trip and you have at least 1 or 2 photos to print and hang on your walls. After all, how much money do you put on a trip, on a vacation trip? Some people, it takes years planning and putting the money apart to do that trip, and they go to the trip and they come back home with some not nice pictures, let's say like this. It's not cool, right? Well, the art of self-portrait is something very old, dating back from ancient times. But the peak came in the Renaissance. That was exactly where I got my inspiration. Specifically from 3 masters of painting. The great Albert Dürer, who made some surrealistic self-portraits 500 years ago, and with amazing, amazing details, such as his hair and beard, and included there the hair on the clothes itself. It's something, man, it's awesome. The second painter and sculptor, by the way, it's the divine Michelangelo Buonarroti. His self-portrait of the Sistine Chapel, the one which he is completely skinned. His body skin is being held by Saint Bartholomew. It's a masterful message from him. I don't know if you had an opportunity to visit the Sistine Chapel. No, you don't? You definitely should. It's like the Mecca of painting. And the last, and in my personal opinion, the absolute master of light is the great Caravaggio. The way in which he painted the light is debated until today. Centuries after those masterful creations, they continue to leave jaw-dropping crowds. Actually, during my last self-portrait, I posed with my children, my kids, using the creation of Adam from Michelangelo, which one was in the Sistine Chapel, the frescoes on the Sistine Chapel. I use it as a reference to pose, but trying to reach the same light as Caravaggio. The idea was to use only one artificial light and the sunlight as a fill. And I left an extremely powerful message on that image that has already been unveiled by some close people with artistic sensibility. Anyway, I'm happy with the result. In the course, I explain step by step how I did this self-portrait, how it was taken, in addition to other photos and that I took during my career. And in the course, I reveal all the secrets of composition, planning, camera configuration, gear, and editing. Everything a person needs to know to make not only self-portraits, but also incredible landscape photography. I have taken hundreds of fantastic landscape photos during my career. And the rules of composition and the basics of both self-portraits and landscape photography, they converge. It's a unique and complete course for those who really love this art. My intention is to bring the art of photography to everyone, economically and efficiently. Well, I know very well what it is to not be able to pay for a professional photographer to take your photos, or your children, your kids, family. Anyway, when I researched for the prices of a professional photographer to take some pictures of my kids some years ago, and I found the cheapest one would cost me like $500. It was literally a shock, as I would have to work for almost 2 weeks for pay for a 2 hours photo shoot. Today, I understand why photos and videos cost all this money, because it took me years to buy all the gear and mainly to get all this knowledge of photography and video. And as you know, we pay for knowledge. I'm going to give you an example. So a few years ago, I forgot the keys, my apartment keys inside the apartment, and I had to call a locksmith to open the door. The guy opened it in like a half second. It was very fast, using only a card that he put on the lock, and he charged me $100 for a half-second work. It was maybe the card that is magical. No, it's not. I paid for the knowledge. I paid for the locksmith knowledge. I never forgot that thing in my pocket too. Anyway, knowledge is something extremely powerful. Remember that people can take absolutely everything from you, your car, your house, your kids, everything. But your knowledge, that they can never take away from you. So knowledge is the best asset and the best investment that you can make. The knowledge that I got with photography paid off in a short time. And I went from earning $90 per hour to earn $120. It was a huge difference. And when we talk about video, that difference increases even more. Then the person says, oh, $130 for a photography course. That's what the course costs. This price may seem high for some people and extremely cheap for others. It all depends on the point of view. If you consider that we're talking about buying years of knowledge and experience, this price became something symbolic, like a small fee. It cost less than an hour of my work as a photographer. And even less if we talk about my hour as a video maker. Anyway, it's up to each one to consider if the investment in itself would be worth it. When the people has mastered the knowledge inside this course, the techniques inside this course, they can even make a business out of it. Like wedding photography, which is a great market, and if the person doesn't like to deal with people, they can use this knowledge to photograph like commercial products like I did. And I guarantee the big companies, they pay much better than weddings. Anyway, This course can definitely open several doors for the future of those who do it. Tons of people think that this thing about being a photographer is something for rich people. And I don't disagree with the fact that the vast majority of famous photographers were actually born very well financially. However, my case was completely different. I was born in a very poor community in Rio de Janeiro, and I had a life that we can even classify as humble. After all, until 5 or 6 years ago, I was a dishwasher in a restaurant, and alone, without asking or accepting economic help from anyone, in a period of 3 years, something like this, I was already traveling the world with professional gear, photographing and assembling my portfolio. In other words, photography, it's definitely not stuff of rich people. It belongs to everyone, like any other art. Photographing is like I have a superpower to freeze the time. Today, more than ever, I know that a photo says more than 1,000 words. That's true. Photos and images, they have the power in just a second to make you cry and to fill you with joy, true joy. I know very well because I see these reactions when people look at my photos during the photo shoots. And I must confess that the feeling of seeing these reactions is priceless.